Very good day. That is the appearance day of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. It's also the first time in like 17 years I have not celebrated with pure devotee. So that is lost. So really, glories of Nityananda Prabhu will speak tonight mostly, but have to do something, of course, because he is the original Guru. So today is a very auspicious day. It said in previous incarnations, Baladev Tattva would always appear as the younger brother of the Lord, especially in Ram Leela. Because the younger brother has to always follow the order of the older brother. Lakshman was forced to do many services he did not particularly relish. For example, he was the one that was ordered to take Sita across the Ganga, give her up to the forest. Lakshman was ordered to build the funeral pyre for Sita to commit suicide in. As the examination of her chastity, of course she passed. The fire god himself came out. Sita was completely pure. Actually, Ram did this not to test Sita, but to convince the ordinary foolish persons. At that time, how much terrible service to do that. But Lakshman has to obey because the younger brother. So he promised, if I come again, I'm never coming as younger brother. So in the pastimes of Krishna and the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came as older brother. So I think because non-devotees will not understand so much the tattva of Nityananda Prabhu. So they like pastimes. So night time we'll speak to the pastimes. And morning time with the Vaishnavas will discuss Nityananda Tattva, who is he. He is Baladev, Krishna's first expansion. Balaram Vaidanatai. And that Balaram has appeared in Kali Yuga as Nityananda Prabhu. There's no difference between Baladev and Krishna. Only difference is complexion and mood. Otherwise there's no difference at all. They're like one soul in two bodies. Therefore Krishna himself has come in the form of Baladev in order to render service to himself. Krishna has come in the form of Baladev in order to serve himself. Therefore Balaram is also the Supreme Lord. He is Krishna himself, but he has the mood of servant. Therefore Krishna's cloth, his ornaments, his abode, his devotees, these are not material things. These are expansions of Krishna himself in the form of Baladev. Therefore Baladev Prabhu has expanded himself into so many ways to serve Krishna. He has become Krishna's cloth, Krishna's shoes, Krishna's flute, Krishna's bed. He has become Krishna's abode of Vrindavan. He has manifested the unlimited eternal associates of Krishna for Krishna's service. Therefore Baladev is the presiding deity of Sandhini Shakti, existence potency. Therefore everything that exists rests on him. Especially in spiritual life, without existing you cannot serve Krishna, obviously. So we give pranam to Baladev. By his grace we exist. By his grace we can have the mood of service to Krishna. Also without the grace of Baladev one can never enter the spiritual world, one cannot receive a spiritual body, and one will not have the strength to serve Krishna, the potency. Nayamatma Balahina Labdha. Srila Bhavan Maharaj would always say, weak souls cannot serve the Lord. Those who are weak-hearted. Therefore, who will give that strength? That strength is given by Baladev. Therefore, Balaram, because he infuses spiritual strength in the heart of the souls, he is called Baladev. Baladev has his unlimited expansions to serve the Lord. Therefore, that Baladev, he expands himself into Mathura and to Dwarka as Sankarshan. As Sankarshan, he attracts the souls towards the service of the Lord. He expands himself also in the spiritual sky of Vaikuntha as Mahasankarshan. That Mahasankarshan expands himself in the form of Mahavishnu for manufacturing, for creating the material universes. Again, he enters into each universe as Garbhadaksaya Vishnu. Again, he expands himself into the heart of every living entity as Kirdaksaya Vishnu. So Sankarshana, Ayoptasayish, Sasaschangsa Kalasamityanandakya Sadanam. To that Nityananda who is the source of unlimited incarnations, I offer my pranam again and again. So that Baladev has appeared in this Kali Yuga in the form of Sri Nityananda. So tonight we'll discuss about his appearance, his parents, his devotion to the Lord, how he preached everywhere, how he delivered even the most fallen souls. So especially we should know that Nityananda has expanded as Guru Tattva. Therefore Nityananda was the original Guru. Some people ask what to do, where is Guru? You have to pray to Nityananda Prabhu. Because Nityananda Prabhu is the original spiritual master. Without his grace, no one can have anything. So, Sri Nityananda Prabhu ki. I feel very bad to give up there. But really tonight, in an expanded way, we'll try to glorify Nityananda. Srila Gogamaj on this day, 4 or 5 hours, he would glorify Nityananda, weeping constantly. He would just say Nityananda Prabhu and cry. And again he would try and speak Nityananda Prabhu and cry. So Nityananda Prabhu is very, very merciful, very, very kind. It appears he's even more kind than Krishna, more kind than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because he would extend himself to those persons who the Lord would avoid. Therefore our spiritual masters like Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, really they are empowered by Nityananda. Otherwise how they could make such fallen souls into Vaishnavas, like ourselves. Not that we are devotees, but even that we heard of Vaishnavism, that is one miracle. So, all glories to Sri Nityananda. So tonight, very nicely we'll try and hear about him. And by the grace of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, for the pleasure of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, we are continuing this Bhagavat Katha, this Bhagavat very dear to Sri Nityananda Prabhu also. Always he is hearing Bhagavat Katha, thinking Bhagavat Katha, preaching Bhagavat Katha. He is Bhagavat Katha. He is Bhagavat Katha. This Bhagavat Katha, how it came in this world, this is by the grace of Nityananda. So Nityananda is very, very dear to Mahaprabhu. Anyone who has a little bit of respect for the Lord, Mahaprabhu gives them full mercy. One time, one Brahmin, he had some doubt about Nityananda. Therefore he went to Mahaprabhu. He had faith in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but not faith in Nityananda. Not so much faith. Therefore he went and did pranam and he asked, please Lord, if you think I am qualified, and if you are merciful, I have one doubt. I see that you constantly glorify Nityananda Prabhu. You constantly bow and do satsang pranam to Nityananda Prabhu. According to my vision, I cannot understand him at all. He is sannyasi, but he never wears sannyas cloth. He always moves around in silk, different coloured silk cloth. He wears unlimited types of jewelry. He carries a golden stick. His associates are generally sort of low-class fellows. He does not follow any rules and regulations. He chews betel nut. He's not following any varnashram at all. But I cannot understand why you always give him so much respect. Then Mahaprabhu himself began glorifying Nityananda. If you read Chaitanya Bhagavat, that glorification is there. Therefore Nityananda Prabhu is like the sun. Sun goes and shines on dirty places, like stool and urine and dead bodies, but sun never becomes contaminated. Rather, the sun purifies everything. In the same way, Nityananda Prabhu and great devotees like him, they are like the sun. They follow material rules or regulations or not follow, for them it makes no difference. Wherever they go, whoever they contact becomes purified. Therefore, Kaviraj, Vrindavan Das Thakur said, even if I see Nityananda in the wine shop, him placing a low-class Yavan, means Muslim, prostitute, his lotus feet are still worshipable for Lord Brahma and for Lord Shiva. Understand? Great personalities may perform inconceivable activities, we should not imitate them. But we can understand wherever they go, whatever they do, they are always pure inside and outside. So that Sri Nityananda Prabhu, he removes all anarthas, all obstacles in the path of devotion. Therefore, Bhajan Nityananda, Bhajanataru Kandam Niravadi. That Nityananda Prabhu, he is the root of devotion to Krishna. Jagadish Prabhu, do you want to go and wake up Pankaj? Go and wake up Pankaj downstairs. Sri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. So everyone should think of Nityananda today, speak about him to each other, remember him. So for his satisfaction we are today fasting. So everyone must fast. Even if you don't fast another day, that is not so much. But today you must fast. Because he is the original Guru, the source of all devotion to Krishna. Okay, Remy? Fast. Only one day in your life you fast, this is the day. So, 5th canto. So Bhagavatam has all type of material knowledge also. We should not think that Bhagavatam is devoid of anything. Just like in $100 there's $5, $10 and $20. In the same way there's Bhagavad Gita, there's Srimad Bhagavatam, all type of material knowledge is there. What is the structure of the universe is also given. And this is also Krishna's pastime of creation. It is not devoid of connection with Krishna. Especially, this is so much related to the condition of the jivas in this world. According to our activities, we are receiving the results. Therefore, unlimited positions the jivas can achieve. So then, Sukadeva Goswami began explaining the structure of the universe. If you want to read more details, there is in the Purana. Therefore, there are 14 planetary systems. The topmost planet of Brahmalok, and that is also of 2 divisions, Brahmalok and Satyalok, Muktidam. So there Lord Brahma resides, and from there performed the act of creation, 14 planetary systems. 3 divisions, lower planetary systems, the middle planetary systems where we are, Gulok, and the upper planetary systems, Mahalok, Janalok, Satyalok. 14 there. The living entities, according to their punya or their pap, their sinful activities, are moving here and there. They are given different positions. So the upper heavenly planets, there is so much unlimited material enjoyment there. The pious souls in this world who follow like celibacy, brahmachari, perform yajna, read the Vedas, perform pious activities like feeding the poor, constructing highways, digging wells, distributing food grains, etc., etc., they achieve the higher planets. Therefore, above this planet of this Bhumandal, there is Swarga, the heavenly planets. There is unlimited material enjoyment. There the beings do not have gross bodies like we do. This is the earth planet, therefore our bodies are made mostly of earth. But in the higher planets, their bodies are made of mind, intelligence, or ahankara, falsely. Because you can enjoy more by mind than the body. For example, in the mind you can go out with Britney Spears, but in this body it will never happen. Therefore, actually the mind has an unlimited facility for enjoyment, more than the body. People don't know that. Actually, even in this world, all enjoyment comes through the mind, not through the body. Because you're not paying attention to something, you cannot enjoy it anyway. Real enjoyment comes through the mind. Therefore, in the higher planets, their bodies are made like that, subtle bodies. They live for millions of years. There is no old age. There is no practically any. But as soon as they are born, they attain youth. There is no rules and regulations like in this earth planet. Unlimited scope for material enjoyment. Whatever you desire immediately manifests before you. Then what to speak of the higher planets achieved by sannyasis, chaste women also, yogis. They achieve up to the planet of Lord Brahma. They reside for billions of years. But Brahma Bhuvana Loka Puna Avatara Arjuna. As soon as your pious activities are finished, what happens? Again you fall and come to this earth planet. Therefore, who would perform pious material activities simply to go to the heavenly planets, which is a temporary situation? One time the king of heaven was constructing a new residence. Then his Guru Brihaspati said, before you build it, I want you to go and get the blessings of one Rishi. Romahasha. No, Lomahasha, not Romahasha. Lomahasha, a separate person. Lom means hair. He's called the hairy Rishi. Where's Giridhari or something like that? Downstairs. He was covered in body hair. So the Indra, the king of heaven, went to visit Lomahasana Rishi, who was sitting under one tree and chanting the holy name. And Indra did pranam. And Indra asked, dear sir, I am constructing one new palace in my heavenly planets. Please bless me for that. In Lomahasana's little grave, then Lomahasana said, do you know how long I live for? How long is my lifespan? This Kali Yuga is 432,000 years. The previous Yuga to that, Dwapara, was 864,000 years. The Yuga previous to that, Treta Yuga, that is 2 times 864,000 years. You get a calculator, you can work it out. And Satya Yuga is 4,320,000 years. This cycle of 4 yugas is a grand total of so many billions of years. 1,000 of these Chatu Yugas, this cycle of 4 yugas, that is one day of Lord Brahma. And 1,000 such cycles, or Divi Yugas, that is one day of Lord, one night of Lord Brahma. How long Lord Brahma lives for? 100 of his years. In one day of Lord Brahma, 14 Indras come and go. In one day. So you could imagine the lifespan of Lord Brahma, unlimited. Then Lomahasana said, every time Brahma dies, one of my hairs falls off. And when all my body is completely devoid of hairs, I also die. Then Indra became dumbstruck. My dear sir, then why you don't build at least a house? Something, grass hut, something? And Lomahasana said, life is short, why waste time? So what is the use of the heavenly planets? Therefore those who engage their short human form of life to achieve the heavenly planets, that is a waste of time. Those of lesser intelligence. Therefore, the lower planets, especially the subterranean heavenly planets beneath this Bhumandal, there is even more enjoyment than the heavenly planets. Then beneath this Bhumandal, there is the subterranean planets stretching down to Patal Lok. There is no sunshine there. Rather, the jewels on the head of the snakes there illuminate everything. There is unlimited material enjoyment. And that is inhabited by the demons. Don't think demons are guys with horns on their heads and teeth. No. Demons also enjoy unlimited material enjoyment. They perform pious activities but don't accept so much Bhagavan, God. That's the difference. The demons and the demigods both perform pious activities, but the demigods a little bit inclined towards Lord Narayan in times of problems. And demons perform pious activities but do not believe in them so much, the Supreme Lord. So anyway, point being, Sukadeva Goswami in great detail describes the entire universe. If you read there, very detailed information. Also he gives the divisions of time, very detailed Vedic knowledge. So finally he describes And the bottom of Pataloka is the hellish planets. Not that I'm concentrating on the hellish planets, but you read fifth canto, everything is there. Description of all the planetary systems. So there Sukadeva Goswami begins describing the 28 main hellish planets. For a Brahmin, he drinks alcohol, he goes to one place where he's forced to drink boiling hot metal. Those persons who engage in boiling animals alive, like crabs and lobsters and things like that. How cruel thing. Simply for the tongue they give so much suffering to others. There for the time of death. The sinful, all souls are taken to Yamaraj. Actually in China, this complete same philosophy is there. Buddhism, all these philosophies originally came from the Vedic system. Even the Judeo-Christian philosophies of heaven and hell, where's that coming from? That is all originally all in the Vedic literatures. Before in the entire world was only one religion, one system, that was the Vedic system. But in this degrading influence, because of the degrading influence of Kali Yuga, everything has become fragmented and watered down, changed, perverted. But even the Judeo-Christian idea of heaven and hell, where that came from? All came from here. There were those who boil animals alive and eat them. They're put in one hell, Kumipaka, family favorite. There was a huge copper plate, so like 800,000 miles in diameter. It's burning on the bottom, burning on the top. No matter where you run, you cannot find anything to drink. Another place, they're boiled in oil. Another piece, they're sawn in half. They're thrown off mountaintops. But they have no gross body. Their bodies are made of mind. Therefore, as all enjoyment comes from the mind, all suffering also comes from the mind. Then in the heavenly planets, they enjoy that, and in the hellish planets, they suffer by that. Isn't it? Suffering does not come from this body. So many people who are very wealthy, very healthy, they commit suicide. Why? So much suffering from the mind. So unfortunately, I won't go into full details of the hellish planets. But after describing all of this, for example, someone who cheats a friend, someone who steals gold, someone who betrays someone who does not serve mother and father properly, who kills the guru, who eats the flesh of animals, one who drinks liquor, has illicit relations outside marriage, isn't it? All these different sinful activities, there's a result. So, hearing of the 28 hellish planets, then Parikshit Maharaj asked a very good question. Oh, Gurudev, but in this, one is performing sinful activities. Is there any way one can become free from the result of sinful activities? And then Sukadeva Goswami said, yes. One must perform the process of prayaschita. In the Vedic system, if you commit some abominable activity, some sinful activity, knowingly or unknowingly, there's a process by which one can become free from the sinful reaction. That is called prayaschita. For example, if you read Manusamhita, it's all there, very interesting. If you kill a cow, then what do you have to do? It says you have to serve the cows. Therefore, 14 years. There's some examples. You have to sleep with the cows. When the cows get up, you have to move with the cows. And you're only allowed to eat food grains. When you give a cow food, it passes, and the food grains are in the stool of the cow. You have to pick them out and boil them in cow urine and eat that for 14 years. Haribol. So prayaschita is a very difficult process, very difficult. Therefore, if you perform some sinful activity, karma, there's another karma by which one becomes free from that. Therefore, hearing when Parikshit Maharaj, when Sukadeva Goswami described, by performing material activities, one can become free from the result of material activities. And Parikshit Maharaj said that is impossible. How you can if you are dirty, how you can become clean by taking bath in dirty water? How one can become free from the result of the reaction of material activities by performing more material activities. That is incomplete process. And even though you may, for example, if you commit some bad activity, then you perform an activity, become free from the sinful reaction of that activity, but the desire to perform the activity is still there. For example, you go to church, what does the priest say? put 50 bucks in the box, do this and that. On Sunday, forgive me my sins. And what do they do on Monday? Same activity. Because you may become free from the result of your actions, but that desire to perform the activity is still there. Therefore, Sukadev Parikshit Maharaj said, Gurudev, what you said is not true. Just like an elephant. When an elephant takes bath in the river, when he comes out, what's the first thing he does?
The mud.
Again, he rolls in the dust. Horse, dog, elephant, same thing. Therefore, you may take bath, perform some activity to become free from that sinful activity, but as soon as you do it, what's the first thing that happens when you come out? Again, because those desires in the heart, you are forced to perform the same activity again and again and again. Therefore, what is the process of becoming free from the desire to perform nonsense activities? For example, so many people we hear they were vegetarians. They said, yeah, I was vegetarian for 10 years, then I went back to eating meat. That is a perfect example. They feel bad about eating meat, they know it's wrong, therefore how to become free from the reaction of eating meat? They become vegetarians. But it doesn't last. Why? That desire to do that activity is still there. Then how do you take that out of the heart? Therefore the process of karma is always rejected. We never accept that. Therefore the Christian idea of beating yourself with fish hooks and wearing camel hair underpants and sleeping on the ground, this is all forms of karma. But we do not accept that form of karma. One can never become free from karma by performing more karma. Understand? You end up like a silkworm. The silkworm, what does he do? From his mouth he makes the web. He makes a hole. He becomes enclosed in that silkworm, in that, what's it called? Cocoon. Thank you. And inside that cocoon he dies. So karma is, they're constantly entangled in the cycle of action and reaction. One cannot become free from the cycle of karma by performing karma. For example, you ask many people, what's your goal of life? Do good, be good. Oh, really? What does it mean to do good? Oh, feeding the poor, helping old ladies across the street, giving charity. That is being good. We say, no, that is karma, that is entangling more in the cycle of birth. For example, you help an old lady across the road, she goes to McDonald's and eats a Big Mac. Who is responsible? You are responsible. Some guy in Venice Beach is begging, Baba, can you spare a dime? You give him 10 bucks. What does he do? Buy some crack cocaine. Who is responsible for him taking crack cocaine? You are responsible. You gave him that money. Understand, Remy? Pious activities have a limit and entangle it. Good morning, Pankaj. Mangalati was quite ecstatic this morning. You should try it sometime. Everyone who lives in the temple must come from Mangalati. Rasananda Guru's Guru, Bhaktivedanta Sridhar Maharaj. If you wouldn't come from Mangalati, he would throw you out of the temple. He would say, you are not serious about spiritual life, you go. So you have to come from Mangalati. When Gurudev was young, personally he would go, those who would not come to Mangalati, he would personally go and kick them out of bed. You go. One time Krishnadas, you know Krishnadas? He would always sleep in for Mangalati. One time Guru Maharaj came from Mangalati. Even when I first joined the mud, Gurudev would come every morning. Then Gurudev would see Krishnadas not there. He went to Krishnadas's room. So Krishnadas had put his blanket and rolled it up. It looked as if he was sleeping there. Then Gurudev came and he said, still sleeping, and he kicked, but it was not there. It was only a blanket rolled up. And Gurudev was shocked. He went and Krishnadas was there in Mangalati. So Gurudev very strict before. We are disciples, we have to do. Especially we are living downstairs. What's the harm to come from? People are living outside and they are not even initiated, they are coming. And why we cannot come? No, that is neglect of the Lord. Okay, sometimes we miss, no problem. But that should not become a habit. So, just discussing about the hellish planets, Pankaj. Yes. This is bhakti. No? Even the Supreme Lord comes to Mangalati, why we cannot come? So the path of karma, full of fault. Therefore, we cannot become purified by karma by performing karma. There was one devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his name was Subudhi Roy. So he was a very big landlord. So one day he had one Muslim working for him. That Muslim maybe embezzled money, did some wrong. Subudhi Roy was angry and beat him with a whip. Therefore he had one scar on his back. So afterwards that Muslim became king of Bengal. So after he was married, his wife was asking him again and again, "What's that on your back? Where did that scar come from?" Then finally that king, he said, "Well, actually, my landlord Subudhi Roy, he beat me, I have that scar." Then the wife said, "What? Now you are king, you can punish him." And the king said, "Are you crazy? Subudhi Roy is like my father. He has so much goodwill for me." But the wife was again and again pushing him, "You should punish him, you should punish him." And finally, what's the worst punishment for someone? He was Brahmin, that is to become Muslim. At that time, very easy to become a Muslim. Some Muslim would throw water on you, Allah Akbar. Just by touching the water touched by a Muslim, one would become a Muslim. All the millions of Muslims in Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iraq, these were all Vedic countries. Where all those Muslims came from? All were made from the locals. So the Muslims used to charge tax on non-Muslims. So poor Muslims would have to become Muslims to avoid the tax. So Subudhi Roy became a Muslim. His family kicked him out. They wanted nothing to do with him. And Subudhi Roy was thinking, what should I do? He went to Varanasi. So those who believe in this process of karma, they're called karma kandis. So Subudhi Roy went to them, they read from the Manusamhita. He asked them, what is the process of rectification for a Brahmin who falls from his position? So some of the karma kandis, they read to the Manusamhita, the only way of becoming purified of that activity is to drink 1 kilo of boiling hot ghee. What happens if you drink 1 kilo of boiling hot ghee? Suicide. It means one commits suicide by ghee. So Subudhi Roy, he heard, then he asked some other Brahmanas, they had some different opinion. No, because this was done by force, there is no fault on your part. Therefore he was confused, what should I do? That time, by good fortune, he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Lord. So Mahaprabhu said, there's no other process for rectification except chanting the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Namno yasya yavata shakti papo nirharani Hare. Tavad katam na sakdoti pataka patakam jana. O King, one who chants the holy name even once can destroy more sins than it's possible to commit. Therefore, who is that person who would adopt any other process? So when Parikshit Maharaj rejected the path of karma as a means of purification, then Sukadeva Goswami, he spoke the process of Gyan. Gyan means achieving knowledge. That is, and what are the limbs of Gyan Sadhan? That is activities like becoming celibate, giving charity, performing yoga, being very clean. That is the process of Gyan. Taposena upasamena cha. Never find anything in water. Therefore, the process of Gyan is limited. That is taposa brahmacharjena samena cha damena cha tyagena satya sociabhyam yamena niyamena cha deha vag buddhimandira dhammagya shavayanvitaha kshipanti agamahatapi venugulma mivanala. Therefore, King, in order to become purified from karma, one should perform gyan, knowledge. What is that? Tapasa. one should perform voluntary austerities. Brahmacharyena, one should be celibate. Samena cha damena cha, one should be equal in all circumstances and control the mind and senses. Tyagena, one should renounce material enjoyment. Satya sauchabhyam, one should be truthful, very clean. Yamena cha namena cha, one should perform religious activities and avoid sinful activities. Dehavag buddhimam dira, they're an intelligent person who has achieved this human form of life. Dharmagya sadayanvata, he should know these religious principles and follow them. Kshiptanti agam mahadapi venugulma ivanara, and by performing these activities one becomes free from all sin, just like a forest fire which burns a forest of bamboo to ashes. By performing all these things one becomes free from sinful reaction. Sound good? What do you think, Prabhu? Not so good at all. Someone say, come on, what are you talking about? That's what we're doing in the temple? That is not what we're doing in the temple. These limbs of sadhana have no power to remove the seed of desire also. Just like a forest of bamboo. If you light a fire, what happens to the bamboo forest? It's burned to ashes. But what happens as soon as it rains? Ding. That seed is still there. As soon as it rains again it comes. You see the yogis. By performing these limbs of yoga and jnana and meditation, all their sins are burnt to ashes. But that seed is not there. That seed is not destroyed. Why? It's a little technical but very, very interesting. Their desires are not destroyed because the source of those desires has not been destroyed. Desires to go to McDonald's, desire to drink, desire to fornicate, what else? Desire to steal, desire to do many, many things. Where that desire is coming from. Where are those seeds coming from? Those seeds have a cause. That cause is called ajnana, or ignorance. So what is the cause of all ignorance? What is the root origin of the soul's falling to this world? Krishna Bodhi said, Jiva Nadi Vairmukha, Ateva Maya Taradeya Samsaradi. The cause of all material desires is ignorance. And what is the cause of ignorance? Forgetting Krishna. Deliberately turning your face away from the service of the Lord. That is the cause of all ignorance. Misuse of independence. As long as that has not been rectified, the seeds of desire cannot be uprooted completely. For example, there was one yogi called Subhadhi Rishi. He was thinking how I can escape from material activity. Where were you? Okay. Miserable excuse. So he was thinking how I can escape from material attraction. Where can I go where there's no girls? There's no nightclubs. How I can control my senses. I have to remove myself from seeing them. Therefore, what did he go? He went to a place where no one will ever go. He went to the bottom of the Yamuna. And how long he stayed there? 10,000 years. Imagine what type of yogic power he had. What type of sense control. And one day, two fish went past him, man fish and lady fish. They were enjoying life. The fish touched his nose, his meditation broke, he saw the fish. And what did he think? I also want to marry. I also want to have sense enjoyment. He left all his meditations and ran to King Mandata. We'll hear in 10th canto, so I won't speak so much. Where did his sense control, all these things, purity, cleanliness, they are not enough to hold the soul. Because they are limbs of jnana. For example, you take a bucket of dirty water and you keep it there. After a few days, what happens? All the mud settles to the bottom of the bucket. But you give it a shake, what happens? It all comes back again. So those persons who follow that path of forcibly controlling the mind and senses, what happens? It looks as if they're very peaceful and calm. But you give a shake, all those desires come up again. Like Dalai Lama eating meat. That desire is still there. So many, He said this is my 14th life, as the 14th incarnation as the Dalai Lama. He is so attached to the position of Dalai Lama, it's forcing him to take birth again and again and again. And even after 14 lifetimes of celibacy, those desires have not gone. Isn't it? They're like a forest which is burned to ashes. Those seed is still there. So the question is not to remove the desire, the question is how to remove the seed of desire. Not the seed of desire, how to remove the cause of desire. For example, what's the use of becoming a vegetarian? Being a vegetarian won't save you the time of death. Even a monkey is a vegetarian. Those desires you have to uproot. And to uproot desires, you have to uproot the cause of desire. And that is not performed by being celibate, by being truthful, by being clean, or even avoiding sinful activity. Therefore, when Sukadeva Goswami mentioned this process of Gyan, Parikshit Maharaj also rejected. And for very good disciples, Parikshit Maharaj. If everything Guru says, he's saying, sometimes he says according to time, place and circumstance. Therefore, every statement of the Guru cannot take as completely absolute. Understand? For example, one time there was one disciple of Prabhupada, he was carving Murti of Jagannath. He was still smoking cigarettes. Prabhupada said, okay, just don't smoke more than 4 a day. But that means we also start smoking 4 cigarettes a day to follow his instruction. Therefore, even Guru sometimes gives instructions according to time, place and circumstance. Therefore, leaving Guru is always necessary. For example, Gurudev said 15 years ago, one instruction. But after 15 years, your qualification has changed. Now you can accept a higher instruction. But if Guru is not in this world, what do you do? If leaving Guru, Shiksha Guru necessary, always living guidance is necessary. So, therefore, to concentrate the mind, one must observe a life of celibacy and not fall down. One must undergo the austerity of voluntary giving up sense enjoyment. One must control the mind and senses, give charity, be truthful, be clean, non-violent, follow the regulative principles. Thus a sober and faithful person who follows these principles is purified of all sins performed with his body, mind and words. These sins are like the dried leaves of creepers beneath a bamboo tree, which may be burned by fire, although their roots remain to grow at the first opportunity. And how to take out the root? Kachit Kavalya Bhakti, Vasudeva Parayana, Agam Dunvanti, Kachtina Nihirami Vabaskara. Therefore, only a rare person who has developed complete unalloyed devotional service with the Supreme Lord, Vasudeva, he can uproot the root of desire for karma, just like when the sun rises, it completely dispels all darkness. When pure devotional service arises in the heart, all other desires are immediately destroyed. What to speak of the sun completely rising? In the morning when the sun just rises a little bit on the horizon, all darkness is destroyed. Then what is the proof of this power of pure devotion? For this reason, Sukadeva Goswami explained the hellish planets and the life of Ajamil. Ajamil Maharaj ki Jai. To give us faith in the glories of the process of this chanting the holy name, Sukadeva Goswami told one history. There was one Brahmin. He was following all these things that we talked about. Giving charity, controlling the mind and senses, being clean and being truthful. He was always engaging in the service of his mother and father. He was always engaged in Vedic study, worshipping the deity of the demigods, performing good activities. He had a very good reputation, a very good character. But one day, when he went to the forest to collect flowers for his worship, in the forest, what did he see? One prostitute. She was intoxicated and drunk, and her clothes were falling off. She was embracing some other guy. His clothes were also falling off. They were both drunk and engaged in, how do you say, lusty behavior. So Ajamil saw, oh my God. He tried to close his eyes, but he couldn't check himself. Again and again he looked at the prostitute. Again and again he tried to check himself. He went home and tried to, by the knowledge and by force and control, he tried to forget that image. But he could not forget. Again and again the prostitute appeared in his mind. Krishna gives, by contemplation of the senses, the object of the senses, what happens? Attachment develops. From attachment comes lust. And when lust becomes very powerful, you lose your sense of discrimination. Ajamil tried to forget that he was married. Ajamil was married and had children. But the force of lust is so powerful, he could not forget that prostitute. Therefore, by constantly thinking of her, lust developed in his heart. Krishna says, Arjuna asked Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, why is one forced to commit sinful activities even though he knows it's wrong? And what did Krishna answer? It is lust only, Arjuna, which burns like fire and is never satisfied, which is the eternal enemy of the soul and which covers all knowledge. We've seen even very learned persons, when lust enters their heart, they forget everything. The one who is controlled by lust, one who associates with the opposite sex in a lusty manner, or even associates with those who associate with the opposite sex, what happens? Their knowledge of religious principles, their control of the mind and senses, their fame, their good qualities like tolerance and mercy, cleanliness and truthfulness are all completely destroyed. For that reason, the Vedic scriptures again and again give so much emphasis on, even if you must associate with the opposite sex, then do it in a controlled manner. One should not be unrestricted. So Ajamil, he completely lost all his sense. He took the prostitute in his house as a cleaning lady or secretary. In due course of time, he kicked his wife and children out of the house, as well as his old parents, and began living with the prostitute. Because he was always eating the food cooked by the prostitute, his mind was completely contaminated. If he could not know what to do or what not to do, because he was a Brahmin and had no occupation, how to bring wealth, he began stealing, robbing, murdering, hunting. He became addicted to liquor, eating all types of foodstuffs, all types of bad activity day and night. Ajamil fathered 10 children in the womb of a prostitute, 9 children. And the 10th child, when he was born, Srila Janardhan Maharaj said, one sadhu came. He said, Maharaj, you've given your children all types of names, Pinky, Winky, Stinky. This next child will be a boy. You give him the name Narayan. So Ajamil, when sadhu gives you some knowledge, you should give them some donation. The Ajamil said, I give you the donation, I will not kill you. That is my donation. Ajamil is such a character. So anyhow, the child was born, and he gave the name Narayan. And you know small children? What's the child, that little South African kid, what's his name? Huh? You see small kid come yesterday, no one paying attention to Bhagavat, everyone absorbed in the kid. Isn't nature of little children? Everyone likes it, everyone loves children. Therefore, Ajamil especially was always calling Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. Narayan, come here. Narayan, eat your potatoes. Narayan, eat your vegetables. Narayan, eat the crust of your bread. Narayan, 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 Narayan. This is called sadhana, chanting the holy name. Ajamil was never thinking of the Supreme Lord, he was only calling out the name of his son, day and night. Therefore what happened? The foolish Ajamil forgot about death, but death never forgot about Ajamil. Therefore the time of death, what happened? What is death? The soul is like a peanut. You know, peanut has a hard shell outside, and covering the peanut is a very fine skin, like paper, and inside is the peanut. We are also like peanuts, some more than others. The soul is covered by 2 bodies, the subtle body and the gross body. This gross body consists of stool, urine, hair, pus, blown, blood, marrow, semen, etc. This gross body and the subtle body of the mind, intelligence and false ego, like layers on an onion, and inside is the soul. So the time of death, the soul covered by the subtle body is taken and given its next position. In fact, according to the consciousness of the mind, one achieves a physical body appropriate to that consciousness. We discussed that the other night. For example, someone who's constantly addicted to thinking of sex life, next body, what will they get? You see Rooster, you see the guys in Venice Beach, Muscle Beach, pumping iron. You see the roosters or the pigeons, what they do 24 hours a day? Moving around, trying to pick up the chicks, literally. Monkeys, pigeons, dogs, 24 hours they are absorbed in thinking of that. So a human being who's always thinking of that, what is their next body? That species. One who sleeps too much. One who eats fish, there's so many bodies, become seagull. One who sleeps too much, become bear, dog, cat. One who eats meat, so much facility is there. So the time of death, if one is a good, very good, pious soul, Yamaraj comes for them. But Yamaraj is very sweet and very beautiful. Oh, come, come, come. Like when a very important person comes to the airport, the president may go there and meet him himself. Welcome, welcome. But Fred Sixpack, the average tourist, he comes, the president will not go and meet him. So the time of death, Yamaraj comes. If you're a pious soul, he's a very beautiful form, smiling nicely. Welcome, welcome. Please come, the heavenly planets are waiting for you. And Yamaraj, at the time of death, Yamaraj has a book that says, the time of death, your life flashes before your eyes. What is that? Everything you've done in your life, you see. And who is taking those pictures? That is Chitragupta, the messenger of Yamaraj. There's one nice story, good story, you'll like it. One devotee, you know who I'm talking about? He was a devotee, but he left all his spiritual practices and went back to all types of debauched life. He had a car accident and died. So the time of death, the Yamadutas came from the messenger of Yamaraj. Then when they were grabbing him, he said, why are you taking me? What have I done? One Yamaduta went like that, and he saw his whole life flash in the palm of the hand of the Yamaduta, the messenger of Yamaraj. And he said, okay, fair enough. So that everything we're doing, which no one else sees, we think no one sees, Yamaraj sees. We'll talk this after, it's coming. At the time of death, one is taken to Yamaraj, and Yamaraj looks everything you've done, good and bad. That is karma. What you have done, everything he sees. That much you've done good, you get the good result. That much you've done bad, you get the bad result. He takes a measurement and he gives the destination. That is your next body. Some human beings have a very happy life, so much money, good wife, good children, no trouble, no tension, no disease. Why? Last life they performed so many good activities. Even some people get human form of life, so much disease, so much trouble, so much suffering. Why? Result of their previous activities. What to speak of those who go to the heavenly planets or those who go to the lower planets. So, pious souls, Yamaraj comes personally, but sinful souls, Yamaraj does not come personally. Who does he send? His messengers. They're called the Yamadutas. There was a time of death, Ajanul saw 3 very horrible figures come towards him. One had a hook, one had a rope, one had a hammer. We always hear about the noose of Yamaraj. Chinese have exactly the same idea. That rope is thrown around the subtle body, which covers the soul, and the soul is dragged out of the gross body and taken to the abode of Yamaraj. There's one story, you know Kulashekar? He told me this story. I love collecting Yamaduta stories. He told me a story, it was incredible. He said when he was in high school, one girl committed suicide. She took so many pills and she died. Then the paramedics came and and pumped her stomach and she came back to life. So when the girl came back to school, all the people were asking, what happened? What happened? And she said, actually, I was in the room, the whole room became covered by smoke, and some very horrible person came and threw a rope around my neck and was dragging me out of the body. Then the guys came and pumped her stomach, she came back. What's his name? Kurashaka, what's his name? Yes, what's his devoted name? He told me that story. So when he said he heard that, all his hairs on his body stood on end, but he couldn't say anything, because who would believe? So, there's one more story out there, many, many stories. One time the devotee was distributing this Bhagavatam in the airport. And there was a picture of the Yamadutas taking Ajamil out of his gross body. And this man was dressed in suit and tie and this and that. And the devotee was showing these pictures, and the guy was sort of laughing, making fun. But when he turned to the picture of the Yamadutas, the guy fainted and passed all in his pants, right there in the airport. Just fainted clean away. So you can imagine the devotee was like pretty shocked. They took the guy, sat him down, he said, "Are you all right? What happened?" And he said, years ago I had an accident, a near-death experience. So he left my body. We hear about these near-death experiences, and what does everyone say? I went to the light, Jesus was there, all my family and friends were there. Huh? He went there. He said, but I kept going after that. People go to that stage, then they come back to the body, then they tell their experience. But that man said, no, I went another step further. And what happened? 3 persons came from it. And then he was weeping and saying, that was exactly what they looked like. All cultures have the same idea. If you look, scratch, all cultures have this idea. Therefore 3 persons came, one with a hook to grab and hold of the subtle body, one with a rope to pull and a hammer to break, because so much attachment is there. Therefore what are ghosts? Ghosts are nothing else except that subtle body. And the soul is there, but they cannot get a gross body because of bad activities. So these 3 persons came and began to drag the soul out of the body of Ajamil. Ajamil was full of fear. Then who would help him? He turned and saw his small son. He thought, my son will help me. Narayan, Narayan. With tears in his eyes at the time of death, Ajamil somehow or other chanted the holy name. What happened? Immediately, 4 persons came. What do they look like? We will hear. Very attractive. Their bodies were very dark. They had 4 hands. Their speech was deep like the rumbling of thunder. Their eyes were like lotus flowers. They were extremely attractive. In their whole hands they held various weapons. Who were they? The Vishnu-dutas, the eternally liberated souls, the servants of Lord Narayan. Because they served no Lord Narayan, they look like Lord Narayan. Because the devotees of Krishna look like Krishna, serve Krishna, they look like Krishna, coward boys, gopis. So they said, Ma Boyat, don't fear. And with their weapons they cut the rope and dispelled the Yamadutas. Don't touch him. And the Yamadutas were astonished, because they had never been checked before. Who can stop death? The Yamadutas were astonished. They had never been checked before. They had never seen persons like this before also. Therefore the Yamadutas were also very attracted by them. Their speech, all the good qualities they had, transcendental bodies. The Yamadutas asked, who are you? Are you the residents of Siddhalok? Perfected yogis go there, above the heavenly planets. Maybe you are residents of Siddhalok. Maybe you are demigods, but I think not. Otherwise we also would have met you. Maybe they didn't know who they were. Maybe you are the servants of the Supreme Lord Narayan. We don't know. But please tell us why you are stopping us in our duty. Is our duty to take the sinful souls to Yamaraj? Why are you stopping us? Hearing this, the Yamadutas, the Vishnu-dutas laughed. Ajamil was not dead, because when the Yamadutas cut that rope, he came back in his body. He was like in a coma, like that. And he was listening to this conversation. The conversation between those who believe in karma, and the conversation between those who believe in devotion. There's a conversation between the Harijans, the followers of Hari, and the karma kandis, those who believe in the process of karma. Shuddha Shuddha Mahasha. What do you believe in? Mercy or justice? What do you want, Michael? Mercy or justice? Which is good? Mercy is always better. When they go to the judge, and according to your crimes, the judge may say 10 years in the jail. But the criminal can apply for mercy to the president. Isn't it true when the American president goes out? He gives some, what's it called? Huh? Presidential pardon. Even the worst criminal has power to get the pardon. The Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, we are not coming to Krishna for justice, because we've done so many horrible things in this life and our millions of previous lives. We are not coming to Krishna for justice, we are coming to Krishna for mercy. And Krishna is very merciful. If it doesn't matter what a devotee did in their previous life, it has no hold. But someone who comes to Krishna and surrender, Krishna has power to release them. Therefore, who is that foolish person who would follow karma or jnana when they can follow this path of mercy, path of devotion? So understand, Ajamil had not died. He was there listening to this conversation. And the result of listening to that conversation you will hear afterwards. So, the messages, the eternally liberated souls, the Vishnu Dutas smiles. Oh, if you are really servants of Yamaraj, who gives the result of all karma, then you must know the principles of religion. Then please explain to us what is religion and what is not religion. And Yamaduta said, well, we have heard, the Vishnu Duta said, how painful you are talking about religion and irreligion. Indeed, it seems you have no knowledge of the subject matter. A king, a policeman, a representative of the government should have full knowledge of what is religion. Otherwise, in the name of religion, he may perform an irreligious activity. The king and government officials should always give the citizens good advice. Yamaraj always gives good advice. Therefore, please tell us what you have heard about him. Who should be punished and who should not be punished? Tell us what religion is there. And the Yamaduta said, what is spoken by the Supreme Lord Narayan in the Vedas, that is called religion. And what is against those instructions is called irreligion. This Ajamil has performed irreligious activities since time without memorial. He gave up the service of his mother and father. He rejected his religiously wedded wife. He abandoned his children. He began living with a prostitute. He fathered so many children with her. He was always eating food that was unclean. He was drinking alcohol, eating meat, performing unlimited bad activities. Therefore, we are taking him for punishment. Hearing this, the Vishnu Dutas laughed. And they said, Ayam hi krita nirvesho janmakoti anghasamapi yad vyajara vivaso nam swasti ayam hari. Ajamil has not only atoned for the sinful activities of this life, he's atoned for the sinful activities of millions of lives, Pran, because at the time of death, in a helpless condition, with tears in his eyes, he chanted the name of Narayan. Even though he did not chant purely, he chanted without offense. Therefore, he is now pure and eligible for liberation. Even previously, while eating, and at all other times, he constantly called his son Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. Even though calling the name of his son, he nevertheless chanted the 4 syllables, Narayana. Therefore, 4 Vishnu Dutas came. Thus, he has sufficiently atoned for the sinful actions performed in millions of lifetimes. But the chanting of the holy name is the best process of atonement for a thief, for a drunkard, for one who betrays his friends and relatives, for one who kills a Brahmin, for one who indulges in sex. Is the best method of atonement for one who murders women, the king or father, one who slaughters cows, and all other sinful men. Simply by chanting the holy name of Lord Vishnu, such sinful persons attract the mercy of the Lord, because the Lord thinks He has chanted my name, I must give him protection. So Ajamil had not died. Therefore he was hearing the glories of the holy name from the pure devotees. Therefore what awoke in the heart of Ajamil? Shraddha, faith. Therefore he heard, Ajamil did not chant the pure holy name. You can't say Hare Krishna? Did you see Krishna when you chanted? The name of Krishna and Krishna is the same. Why when we chant Hare Krishna we are not seeing Krishna face to face? Srila Goswami said, how you know when you chant the pure holy name? Because immediately Krishna will come before you, like a flash of lightning. That is the proof you are chanting the pure name of Krishna. Ajamil obviously did not chant the pure holy name. But he did not chant the holy name desiring material enjoyment or desiring liberation. Therefore he did not chant with offense, but he did not chant the pure holy name. What did he chant? The middle stage, that is called Nam Abbas. Sanketyam Parihasyam Va Stovam Helayam Eva Va. Nam Grahana Vyasasi Yashashaganam Hari. Therefore, the Vishnu just said, one who chants the holy name in 4 ways. Sanketya. Sanketya means indicating something else. Hey, Pran Govinda, what time's lunch? I'm talking Pran Govinda, this guy, but Pran Govinda is also the name of Radharani. So somehow, indicating someone or something else, I chant the holy name. Like Ajamil, Narayan, my son, Narayan. He chanted the holy name, indicating his son, but he chanted the holy name. That is called Sanketanam Abbas. Sanketyam Parihasyam, joking. Isn't it? Like when I was saying when we were on the bus at school, we'd drive past the Haris, we'd call out, hey, get a job, you Hari. Joking. That may also be Namabas. Like when we perform chanting the streets, so many people go, hey, no, hey. They're chanting the holy name. Like yesterday I was walking, some guy, Hare Krishna, smoking Krishna, something like that. Is that right? He said, okay, good enough. He's joking. But anyhow chanting the holy name. That is called Parihasyam Namabas. Sanketyam Parihasyam Va Stobham. Hela. Stobha means by musical entertainment. Like when you learn Mridanga properly, where's Madhuranga? School. Oh, there it is. Isn't Madhu? I heard when you learn Mridanga there's some mantra, right? Nitai go, something. If people learn Mridanga, or they learn rags and the harmonium, Hare Krishna. They're learning music, but anyhow chanting the holy name. That is called Sankirtan. Stovam Namabas. And last, Hela, neglectfully. Chant, but chant without offense, but not the pure name, not with pure love. One who chants this type of Namabas, then all unlimited sins are merely destroyed and burnt to ashes. If Ajamil chanted, did not chant the pure holy name, he did not develop pure love of Krishna. Niraparad, Namaloi, Padapamandan. If you chant the holy name purely, you will develop Krishna Prem, pure love of Krishna, you will see Krishna face to face. And if you chant the holy name desiring material enjoyment or liberation, that is called Namaparad. Understand? The holy name with offense. Ajamil did not do those 2. What did he do? He chanted the middle type of Nama, Harinam, which is called Nam Abbas. Abbas means shadow. A shadow looks like the original, but it's not. It has relationship with the original, but it's not the original. Just like when the sun rises early in the morning. Isn't it 4 o'clock, it's completely dark? It's 6 o'clock, some light is coming, the sun is rising, but not fully risen. Even the sun is not fully risen, you can see everything. What to speak of the midday sun. So chanting the holy name while desiring liberation or material enjoyment, that is called Namaparad. Complete darkness, even though you're chanting. Bahujana Kari Yadi Shravana Kirtan Tabu Napai Krishna Paidapam. If you chant with the holy name with offense, you may chant for millions of lifetimes and not receive Krishna. And if you chant the holy name with love, you'll get Krishna, you'll get pure love of God. That is called Shuddhanam. And if you're chanting somewhere in the middle, I think most devotees must be doing that middle type of Harinam. Why? Because they are not going back to sinful life. Somehow they are staying in the process of devotion. Gradually the pure name is coming. That is Namabhasa. So there are 3 stages of chanting. So if one is in the first stage, one must try quickly come to that middle stage of chanting. So which type of Vaishnava we are, which category, that is also categorized according to our chanting. The Kanishthadikari is always chanting with misconception and offense, therefore always Namavrad. Madhyamadikari always chanting Namabhas, and gradually Shuddhanam is coming. And Mahabhagavat always chanting pure Nam. So those, according to the quality of our chanting, that is the quality of devotion. So, Ajamil had not died. He was listening to this conversation. At the end of the conversation, the Yamadutas ran away, and Ajamil, he wanted to touch the feet of the pure devotees. But he could not touch the feet because he was not that qualified yet. He could not touch them. They disappeared. So Ajamil, what did he from the mouths of the pure devotees, he heard the glories of the holy name. And what did he think? By chanting the holy name by accident, I became liberated, free from death. What would happen if I chanted the holy name with faith? He was thinking. Immediately he stood up, got up from the bed, left baby Narayan, left everything, and went to the Himalaya. That is also the result of someone who chants Namabhas. Complete detachment from this world. So, also someone who chants Namabhas, disease will not touch them. Saraswati Thakur said. One who chants Namabhas will never be sick. That is the power of the holy name. So, Ajamil began lamenting. This is also a symptom of devotion. One repents and grieves for his previous nonsense activities. And someone wrote a message to me on Facebook. I became shocked yesterday. Oh, I won't tell you the history. Don't make me feel bad. I don't want to feel bad for what I do. Only a weakling feels guilt. I didn't answer. What are you going to answer to someone like that? No, a weakling feels no guilt. Ajamil felt so much guilt because he has devotion. Always lamenting. And that lamenting is very powerful. It is not some material lamentation. It is one fire of purification. Just like if you mango, how you make a mango ripe, you put it in a hot place. So anyway, Ajamil lamenting, what a fool I was. I wasted the human form of life. And Ajamil, in his mind, he was thinking of all the things he'd done. And deeply he lamented. He gave up everything and went to the Himalaya. And thinking those 4 as his guru, because from them he heard the glories of the holy name. Understand? This is like initiation. Not officially, of course. But hearing the glories of Krishna's name form, this is the real Diksha. And the Guru Maharaj says, what is Diksha? Taking mantras. This is Diksha. This is called what? Understanding Diksha. You'll have to do this is like a formality. Not a formality, I will not say formality. That is, we cannot minimize the process of Diksha, also I'm not trying to do that. But Guru Maharaj says real Diksha is by this Harikatha, not just by taking mantra. Therefore, by hearing these katha, one Diksha means relationship. So this relationship is not achieved just by taking mantra, it's also achieved by hearing all this katha. Ajamil received real Diksha by hearing the glories of the holy name. When I came to Gurudev first, Gurudev said, you came to me because you had not taken initiation. Guru Maharaj said, that's not true. Even if I had taken initiation, I still would have come. And Gurudev laughed. Yes, then you can really serve. So anyway, some finer points there. So Ajamil, hearing the glories of the holy name, such a faith came. That faith made him kick everything. Yesterday we were saying, no, what is the qualification of giving up material activities? This taste in hearing, this faith. Ajamil gave up everything, went to the Himalayas. And there he performed all sadachar. Properly, in a proper manner, he chanted the holy name. What happened? In due course of time, he gave up the material body, achieved a perfect spiritual body. And those same 4 Vishnudutas came from the spiritual world and took him to Vaikuntha. Ajamil Maharaj ki jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Jai Jai Sri Ram. Sankirtan.
Hare Krishna. Yes. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama Hare Rama. Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Rama Hare Rama. Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Lord Premanand. His holy name is so great. Only one thing greater than Krishna, that is the name of Krishna. Therefore, Nityananda, what would he do? Village to village, house to house, gari gari jao ebu. House to house, Nityananda would go, and what would he say? Brothers, just chant the holy name of Krishna, and I will take full responsibility for delivering you from material life. It was so great is the name, and that Nityananda Prabhu, he went everywhere, village to village, house to house, even amongst the lowest type of persons, and distributed the holy name to all. So tonight we will hear about them. So, is there any greater donation than the holy name? The one who gives us the holy name, who can become free from that debt? So much to speak on the holy name. Therefore also we'll try and finish today the history of Chitraketu Maharaj. So, Chitraketu Maharaj was a king. He had so many wives because he wanted a son. Each time he married, that wife could not give him a child, therefore he would marry again. Not that he threw the old one on the scrap heap, no. Again and again he married. But it's not in your karma, you will never get it. Therefore, how many wives he married? 10 million. Jeez, all the married guys are going, oh my God. Even one wife, so much suffering, imagine 10 million. He could not have a son. Therefore, one day the great saint, Angira Rishi, he came to the palace of Chitraketu Maharaj. And Chitraketu Maharaj did pranam. He bowed to the Rishi. He worshipped him. Then, controlling his mind and senses, he sat at the feet of Angira Rishi. Then Angira Rishi could understand something is not right with the king. Therefore he asked, Maharaj, some problem? Are your citizens not paying their taxes? Are your wives not cooperating? Are your ministers doing okay? Is the granaries full? The treasury stocked? Are you happy? Then the king said, Maharaj, you know everything, past, present, and future. Nothing is hidden from you. But for my benefit you are asking, therefore I will tell you, just as a thirsty man cannot be hungry by a flower garland. A hungry man cannot be happy by having sandalwood paste put on his forehead. Because I have no son, I can find no happiness in my wives, my treasuries, my wealth, or my empire. O Vaishnava Thakur, you are very powerful. Please bless me with a son. Please bless me with a son. So we discussed all that before. Foolish persons of less intelligence worship devotees and Guru for material things. So we discussed all that on the first day. Vaishnava can give everything, and you are asking for tiny material things, and how much you are unfortunate. The king asked again and again, please give me a son, give me a son. Then Angira Rishi could understand, even if I give him spiritual instructions, he cannot hear. Too many desires. Okay. Therefore he said, I will give you a son. That son will give you great happiness and great distress. And without explaining what he meant, Angira Rishi disappeared. I think he gave some, what's it called, rice pudding. What's it called? No, but when it's cooked on the yagya, it has a special name. Payasam. Payasam is actually South Indian for kings. Some name is there. So he took that, give that to your wife. The eldest queen of the king, her name was good to do. And from due course of time, by the blessing of Angira Rishi, she gave birth to a very beautiful son. So just like a miser who finds a wealth of gold, how much he becomes happy? After marrying 10 million times, the king had a son. It's like all his Christmases had come at once. All his affection he gave to the boy and to the woman, the queen who had conceived the child. All his love and affection was given there. What happened to the other 9,990,999 queens? They became full of envy, and also as if from a raging fever they had also a very strong desire. I also want a son, I also want a son, I also want a son. Just see the good fortune of Kriti Duti. Our king is giving all attention to her. The king gives even more attention to the maidservants who sweep the palace. At least the king says, that's not clean. Bring me a glass of water. But the king is not speaking even that to us. He is completely neglecting us. What is the cause of our neglect? What is the cause of our suffering? This little brat. This boy is the cause of our neglect. Where there's no smoke, there's no fire. Therefore they took the little boy, and what did they give him? Poison. Poison. In the morning, when the nursemaid came to wake the child, She saw that his eyes were in the back of his head, his complexion was blue. And the nurse, you could imagine, she became full of fear. I am doomed. Because who will blame her? Everyone will blame her. I am doomed. She fell on the ground weeping. When the queen heard the cry, she came and saw her dead son. She also began lamenting like a kurari bird weeps for her, like a cow weeps for her calf, or like the cooing of a kurari bird. Very loudly she wept. When the king heard what has happened, he ran there. He saw his son is dead. He fell unconscious on the ground. He began lamenting bitterly. Again and again he would stand up, my son is dead. He would fall unconscious. He would get up again, my son is dead. He would fall unconscious. If someone suffers too much, Krishna gives unconsciousness. That is one mercy of Krishna. The king became like a madman. All the residents of the palace also became afflicted with lamentation. Imagine. King's son is dead, such a nice boy, weeping. The ministers were weeping, the servants were weeping, the citizens were weeping. The 9,099,999 queens, they also put some chili in their eye, they were also weeping. Sniff, sniff, what a shame. And Queen Kujuti, she lamented more than anyone. Oh, my dear son, please wake up. You have slept a long time. Now your friends are there. Please wake up, play with them. You must be hungry. Take my breast milk. She lamenting like a mad woman. In that scene, who came? Narad Rishi and Angira. The king was lying on the floor unconscious. And Angira Rishi said, fool, what relationship you have with that dead body? What relationship that dead body has with you? Is that relationship true? Is it true now? Was it true in the past? Was it true in the future? Nice instructions. That sadhu who flatters us, that is not any well-wisher. Real sadhu is not any well-wisher or flatterer. He always speaks what is good for us. He may not speak what is good for our sense enjoyment. Therefore, many people don't like real devotee. Because real devotee will not try and please our senses. They'll try and give us real good fortune by speaking nice instruction. So Angira Rishi directly spoke. Full king. Understand? Hearing those instructions, and many instructions he gave Angira Rishi. Hearing those instructions, the king felt some hope. His ignorance was destroyed. The king was looking, who are these persons? I do not know who they are. They appear. You have come here dressed like avaduts, liberated souls. But I can understand by your instructions you are the greatest of personalities. Brahmanas who have come to the stage of Vaishnavism sometimes dress like madmen. And who else would wear pink bedsheets? Just to benefit materialistic persons like us. These Vaishnavas wander the surface of the globe according to their own desire. Who are you? I do not know you. The king was so much mad he could not even recognize Angira Rishi who gave him that in the first place. Are you Sanat Kumar? I've heard there are perfect souls who wander the earth. Who are you? Are you Sanat Kumar? Are you Narad? Are you Angira, Devala, Asit? Are you Markandeya, Gautam, Vashishta, Parasuram, Kapila, Sukadev, Durvas? All these persons we have discussed in these few days. You certainly must be one of them. Tasmad yuvan grama pasu mama mudadiya prabhu ande tamasam magnasya gyanadipu diritam. How much humility the king had to pray like this. Can we pray like that? Tasmad yuvam grama pasu. I am like a village animal, a stool-eating animal. Why? Because I am simply absorbed in this body of stool. Therefore, you are great personalities. You can give real knowledge to a village animal like me. Why am I an animal? Because an animal only knows the body and sense enjoyment. I am also like an animal. Therefore, please ignite the torch of knowledge within me and give me knowledge. Very nice thing. I'll read that verse again, I should learn it. Tasmad yuvam grama pasu mama muda diya prabhu ande tamasi magnasya jnanadeepu dirya. Every morning we also pray. Om Gyan Timarandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chakshurangritam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurure Namah. Who is Gurudev? He removes the darkness of ignorance. Tamirandas. Andas means darkness. Tamir means very deep darkness. Forgetfulness of Krishna. Om Agyan Timarandasya. Someone whose eyes are closed, everything is dark. Therefore, who is Guru? Guru is that person who opens our eyes. That person may be Diksha Guru, that person may be Shiksha Guru, but that person is Guru. Whoever gives us realization of Krishna, that person is Guru. We cannot say Guru is only one person. Whoever gives us that knowledge, where we find that devotion, that person is Guru. And what is closing our eyes in this world? That is attachment for two things. Attachment for the opposite sex, improper attachment for the opposite sex, and associating with non-devotees. These are two types of blindness. Who is a Vaishnava? Sri Sangha Eka Sadhu Krishna Bhakta. Who is a devotee who gives up those two things? Improper relation with the opposite sex, and who gives up association with non-devotees, that person is a Vaishnava. But we are not doing, therefore we are still blind. Many years in devotion, still blind. So Guru is that person who removes that darkness. How does he remove that darkness? How does she remove that darkness? By giving us the torchlight of knowledge. What is that knowledge? Service to Krishna. How do you take darkness out of a room? You have to turn on the light. How do you remove ignorance from the heart? Bhakti Devi, devotion must appear there. Krishna must appear there, otherwise devotion, ignorance cannot be removed. Same thing we find again and again in the Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is not like other scriptures. One time it gives one instruction here, another time it gives another instruction. Every verse of the Bhagavatam giving same instruction in the beginning, in the middle, and the end. Vede Ramayana Cheva Purani Bhadavadacha Advante Cha Chamati Cha Harisavatra Gita. Okay, Michael, still alive there? Hang in there. Not so easy thing. Even all devotees, very hard for us to sit. Huh?
It's a preconception.
No, I'm just saying, even all devotees, very hard to sit 5 or 6 hours a day. And new people also, very hard thing. Even all devotees running, not coming on time, running early. So this is one also big thing to sit every day, 5, 6 hours. So, how ignorance can be removed unless devotion is given in the heart? Ignorance cannot be removed. As Guru Maharaj used to often say, those people think, I will remove ignorance and I will get devotion, that person is an atheist. Guru Maharaj would always say. Unless devotion comes in the heart, how ignorance can be removed? So, real knowledge, that is devotion. The Guru is that person who gives devotion to us. Therefore, you are great personalities, you can give me real knowledge, I am like a village animal. A pig or a dog because I am merged in the darkness of ignorance. The pleasing light, this torchlight of knowledge, that is devotion, and saved me. The king was so mad he could not even realize this was the same Angira Rishi who gave him a son. That is the effect of the material lamentation. Then Angira Rishi spoke, you are an advanced devotee of the Supreme Lord, O King. It is not proper for a great person like you to be absorbed in this type of material lamentation. Therefore we have both come to relieve you from this false lamentation, which is due to ignorance. For those who are advanced in spiritual knowledge to be affected by material loss and gain is not at all desirable. Therefore we gave good instruction. When I first came to your house, I could have given you the same knowledge, but when I saw your mind was absorbed in material things, I gave you a son, and that son would give you happiness and distress. O King, now you are directly experiencing the misery of having a son. Understand how clever is Vaishnava? Everyone is not given the same medicine. So, king, you should think. One's wife, house, opulence, sense enjoyment, kingdom, military power, treasury, servants, ministers, friends and relatives are all the cause of fear, illusion, lamentation and distress. Isn't it true? Isn't it? If I gave you $10,000, Mikano, what would happen to you? Immediately would come fear. Who would steal it off me? Where will I keep it? Then would come so much illusion. What will I do with it? Will I go on the cruise? Will I buy my husband a new pair of pants? Will I buy myself a new pair of pants first? What pair of pants will I buy? Understand? If you had no money, no need to think of all these things. So merely when possession comes fear. Who will steal it? Then comes so much illusion. How to enjoy that? Then when someone steals it off you, the IRS find out. Then comes so much lamentation, distress. So actually all these things are a cause of fear, illusion, lamentation and distress. They are like a dream. We're thinking this is my husband, my children, my house. It really isn't ours. What do you own? Even you do not own this body. Therefore it's like a dream. In a dream we see many things which we think are real. But when you wake up, what do you see? Not real. Someone who is in illusion, they're like a dream state. Their soul is unconscious. They are dreaming. I am this and this is mine. I will do so many things, so many plans for enjoyment. I will be happy in this world. Someone who is dreaming cannot understand their dreaming. Someone is really deeply asleep. They think their dream is real. And someone comes and wakes them. Only then they can understand. Oh, I was dreaming. In this world, all souls are dreaming under the spell of illusion. Maya. Devi hiya saguna maya mama maya duratya mamaivam ye papatiti mayamitam turantita. Krishna says, all souls are caught by my illusion consisting of sattva, raja and tamagun. This illusion is very powerful. Why? It's my illusion. Because this illusion belongs to Krishna. Without surrendering to Krishna, how you can become free from it? You cannot break it by your own power because it's Krishna's own energy. And no one can be more than Krishna. Instead of challenging Krishna and having false ego by your own austerities, your own knowledge, your own wealth, your own youth or good looks or whatever you have, the devotee simply surrenders to Krishna and Krishna removes it. So who can wake us up? If you're sleeping with another guy and he's also dreaming, you cannot wake. A person asleep cannot wake someone else who is asleep. Only that person who is awake to their spiritual sarup, their service to Krishna, only that person really can wake another person. Someone who is pretending to sleep, you cannot wake them. You notice that? You know what it's like? It's 10 to 5, Mongalati time. Bed is warm, outside is cold. Wake up, Mongalati, that time. You are pretending to sleep so no one can wake you. Those persons who are pretending to be liberated, no one can help. Only those persons who are honest and simple, they can be woken up. So, the visible objects of this world, like wife and children, they are simply dreams and mental concoctions. They have no real foundation, no real existence. They are sometimes seen and sometimes not seen. The living entity absorbed in the body of conception of life considers this body to be the self. And on the basis of this false bodily conception of life, he experiences so many miseries. Therefore, king, carefully consider where you have come from and where you are going. Who are you? Are you the body? Are you the mind? Or are you the soul? Where's Kanaya? Ah, there you are. Good for yourself. Think where you are going after you give up this body and why you are now in so much misery and lamentation. Try to understand your real position. then you will be able to give up your unnecessary attachment and your unnecessary suffering. Now listen to this. You will also give up the belief in this material world, and you will give up the belief that anything which is not the service of Krishna has any value. Then you will achieve peace. So at that time all the ignorance of the king was removed by the words of Angira Rishi. Then Narad Muni gave him initiation. So Angira Rishi like Shiksha Guru, and Narad like Diksha Guru. But who did all the hard work? Shiksha Guru did all the hard work. So most often we see, Shiksha Guru is more prominent, Shiksha Guru is more important. Now people become very much excited now Guruji is left, who will take Diksha from? People asking. Some people giving argument, only Uttam Bhagavat, that is best for Diksha Guru. Of course you can find Uttam Bhagavat, you are very much fortunate. But even if Diksha Guru is not Uttam Bhagavat, even his Madhyam, but Shiksha Guru is Uttam Bhagavat, that person achieves everything. So mostly we see in our parampara, Diksha Guru is not so much important, but Shiksha Guru is prominent, because we are not simply a parampara of bodies. We are parampara of conception, parampara of Harikatha. Again, Bhagavatam always giving the same message. No matter where you go, any chapter, that same idea is always coming through the Bhagavatam. So even though Angira Rishi did all the hard work and all the instruction, Narad Muni gave initiation. At the end of the day, who gave more? What do you think, Gopananda? Who gave more, Angira Rishi or Narad Rishi? Angira Rishi gave everything. Even one time I remember Puja and Madhav Maharaj, he was giving pranam mantra, and he said, first of all I give a pranam mantra to my Diksha Guru, Srila Bhaktivedanta Bhaman Goswami Maharaj, then I give pranam mantra to my Shiksha Guru, Sri Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. The Guru said, that is wrong, don't say that. And Madhav Maharaj said, Pujapad Madhav Maharaj said, okay, I give pranam simultaneously to my Diksha Guru and Shiksha Guru. Guru Maharaj said, that is also wrong. I remember clearly. Pujapad Madhav Maharaj, even though he is intelligent, his intelligence also has a limit. I don't know what to say. What do you say? Then Guru Maharaj said, who give pranam first? That person who gave you more. That person is first. And he did. So, Chitraketu Maharaj took mantra, he took initiation, he chanted that mantra. What happened? In 7 days he saw the Supreme Lord face to face. His yesterday was Sankarshan. And today is Baladev Thakur. So same thing. Then the Lord gave him benediction. So he asked the benediction, what did he want to become? I want to become a Gandharva. Because Gandharvas are very good singers. So we cannot understand what a devotee will ask for. We cannot pigeonhole them. Chitraketu wanted to become a demigod. Why? Not because he'd been surrounded by beautiful women, which he was. No. Because he wanted the benediction, I want to sing very nicely and give happiness to Krishna. So he got that destination. And what happened? He became, because he was a perfected being, he had all yogic powers, he was moving everywhere in the universe. Then one time he went to visit Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva and him were both like god brothers. Why? Because who does Lord Shiva worship? Sankarshan. And who does Chitraketu worship? Sankarshan. Both have the same Ishadeva, therefore they're like god brothers. That time Lord Shiva was giving Harikatha. Lord Shiva was completely naked. And on his wife was, sitting on his lap, here was Parvati. And he was giving lecture to so many sadhus and sannyasis. Is this a very good thing? If Damana Maharaj came out wearing no clothes and gave lecture, what would happen? They would call 911. So, generally this is not a very good thing. If you give lecture, even you should not be like that. Not joking too much, a little serious, grave. He's not representing Guru Parampara. But Lord Shiva is not doing that. Completely naked and with his wife on his lap and giving a lecture. This is extraordinary. So when Chitraketu saw that, he began laughing. Not out of ill will. But he was thinking, Just see the greatness of Lord Shiva. Mary, how you can come 2 hours late? Afterwards you can sleep. You can come for the class. So Chitraketu began laughing. Actually, he was not laughing out of envy. He was laughing because just see the greatness of Lord Shiva. Only Lord Shiva could give a lecture naked with his wife on his lap and not be disturbed. Just see the greatness of Shiva. Could we do that? Walk around with no clothes on? Not a good idea. Especially with a woman sitting on your lap, that would be very embarrassing for the common soul. Therefore, this is proof Lord Shiva has no lust. Therefore, only Lord Shiva can act like Lord Shiva. People want to imitate Lord Shiva. And then so many followers of Lord Shiva smoking ganja. Isn't it? But Lord Shiva smokes ganja. Does Shiva become stoned? Does Shiva get the munchies? Shiva may take intoxication, but it never affects him. He's a transcendental personality. Shiva has all perfect knowledge. If someone in this world smokes ganja, they lose their knowledge. They become like fools. If Shiva smokes, he does not become a fool. It does not affect him. Whether he takes or not takes is no difference to him because he's transcendental. So people want to imitate Shiva by taking ganja and things like that. They should also imitate Shiva by drinking poison. We will hear afterwards. When the ocean of milk was churned, Kalakud poison was generated, Shiva drank it, Shiva didn't die. His throat became blue, he became even more beautiful. So sometimes great personalities perform extraordinary activities. We should not imitate them, we should simply follow their instruction. There's one story, Chitraketu. Not Chitraketu, Sankaracharya, he went past somehow he went near some wine shop, something like that. The disciples thought, Gurudev went in, I will also go. Okay, Haribol, have a good time. Gurudev went in, I will also go in. But they were thinking like that, I will imitate Gurudev. The next day Sankaracharya walked past a blacksmith, so he picked up a pot of boiling molten metal and drank. And they said, you want to imitate that as well? And the disciples realized, no, we cannot imitate everything. So sometimes there may be a difference between what a great personality says and does. At that time, we should simply follow their instructions, not imitate their activities, like Lord Krishna. Krishna said, give up lust, which is the gateway to hell. But Krishna married 16,108 queens. Understand? One should not steal, Krishna stole. One should not tell lie, but Krishna lied. One should not imitate Krishna's activities. One should simply follow his instructions. Otherwise you'll go to hell. So you want to imitate Lord Shiva? Then why only smoking ganja? Why only wearing dreadlocks? You should also imitate him by have a woman on your lap and feel no lust. And speak Harikatha. So anyway, whatever it may be, Chitraketu, when he saw Lord Shiva, he laughed. Only Lord Shiva can imitate Lord Shiva. He is so fantastic. He is so transcendently situated. So when Chitraketu was laughing like that, Parvati misunderstood. Who does he think he is to laugh at Lord Shiva? He is newly liberated soul, and Lord Shiva is eternally liberated soul. So she said he's a new guy. Who is this new guy? Who does he think he is to chastise Lord Shiva? Does he think he is greater than Lord Shiva? Lord Brahma, the four Kumars, Narad, and other perfected souls have never said anything about Lord Shiva's behavior, but now this guy is the new chastiser, the new ruler, the new controller. Therefore he is a demon. Therefore I curse you, take birth as a demon. Chitraketu was also powerful, he could have also cursed Parvati back, but he did not. What did he do? Humbly he accepted. Oh mother, I accept your curse. I know your curse cannot give me happiness and distress. Happiness and distress are like waves on an ocean. They're constantly coming and going. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says also in Gita, Sitosni Sukadukava. Like in summer, cold water gives happiness, but in winter, cold water gives pain. So in summer, there's non-purient appearance of happiness and distress that comes from sense gratification should simply be tolerated. Therefore, devotees do not become disturbed when he gains the whole world. He does not become disturbed when he loses the whole world. In all circumstances, he is equipoised and performing devotion. So when he was cursed by Vati, he said, I know your curse cannot give me happiness and distress. This is simply the result of my own activities. Therefore I pray, wherever I may go, whatever I may do, I may simply remember Lord Krishna. O Devi, I have not committed offense, but if you think I have committed offense, then please forgive me. His name Chitraketu was completely undisturbed. So when Lord Shiva saw that, Shiva laughed. O Devi, now you understand the greatness of the Vaishnavas. Narayana parasavana kutasna vidbhati swarga upavarga narakesu tulyata samadasana. The devotees are never affected in any circumstance. They always remain fixed in worship. Whether they gain the whole world or lose the whole world, whether they go to heaven, hell, or achieve liberation, for them it is all the same. If a devotee goes to heaven, what will he do? Like Chitraketu went to heaven, what did he do? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And Chitraketu had now been cursed, become a demon, go to hell. What did he do when he became a demon? Haribol, Nitai Gaur, Haribol, Nitai Gaur, Haribol. And when he achieved liberation, what did he do? Haribol, Haribol. Devotion achieves liberation, they chant the holy name. If they go to hell, they'll chant the holy name there. If they go to heaven, they'll chant the holy name there. Devotee is not afraid of any situation. Therefore, devotee never prays for anything. Whatever Krishna gives me, whatever he thinks best for me, I accept that. Even if I take birth as a worm, I only ask for one benediction. I can always remember him. Kita janmaha jatatura das, bahir mukha brahma nahi moras. Thakur Bhaktivinoda pray. Even if I take birth as a worm, I want to remember you. I do not want to take birth as Lord Brahma and forget you. Therefore, devotee, he never prays for anything. What does he pray for? Devotion. Thakur Bhaktivinoda said, even though I take birth as a dog, an animal, a worm, I want to be a worm in the house of your devotee. I'm not afraid of anything else. So when Chitraketu manifested such strong devotion, then Shankar laughed. Now, Devi, you understand the Vaishnavas. Because even though she is a great Vaishnava, she is also Maya. You understand now. So what happened to Chitraketu? How he became a demon. What he did as a demon. How he was killed by Indra. And what prayers he offered. How Indra came in that position, everything we'll discuss tonight. That is 6th canto. And also we'll discuss the glories of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, his pastimes, his teachings. Sri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Srimad Bhagavat Mahapurana ki jai. Jai Sri Radhe. Any questions? Yes, Nityananda. Yes.
What Krishna says, whoever read Lord Chaitanya, as Lord Chaitanya says, you don't chant 1 lakh of Harinam, Krishna will not accept your offerings. So how do we reconcile?
How can we reconcile? Have to chant like a Harinam then. Perfect, more perfect, most perfect. We shouldn't think only perfect souls can offer leaves of flowers or water to Krishna. If you can offer a leaf of flower water, that is good. If you can chant a halak of holy name, that is more good. I think that. What do you think? How would you reconcile? Any ideas?
Because in the
Yes,
verse,
Pran?
like
Oh, sorry.
as Pujaris, we also
Yeah.
have everything to do with it. Every day we're chanting Bhagavat. He is actually one who's doing the offering.
Okay, good. Good answer.
It says with love and devotion. So it's like, if you have love and devotion, you can chant a lot.
And you want to what if you want to chant a lakh but you have no love and devotion? Well, what about that? Anyway, whatever you can do, you do that. Yes, sir. Yes, your soda?
But the only question I had asked when you were saying about non-operad, what about people who pose as bodies but make sins on the fact that they know they can't name the Lord?
And that is offense to the holy name.
That's the one.
That is offense. Actually, of all offense, that's the worst.
You go to
Actually, sinful activity is not a big deal. Who cares? That's easily destroyed by chanting the holy name. We are not afraid of sin. Sometimes Pran's worried. I'm temple president. So many sins coming. I have to. Chanting the holy name, all that is burned to ashes. Devotees, we are not afraid of sin. Because sin is only ignorance, foolishness. But offense is a completely different matter. We will hear tonight with Jagai Mada, the liberation of Jagai Mada. Offense is nothing. This has no real relation with the soul. Isn't it? Eating chicken, and souls don't eat chicken. Soul has no relation with chicken eating or drinking alcohol or illicit sex. This has no relation with the soul. But offending that which is related to the soul that cause obstacle in devotion. And if, for example, blaspheming devotees, disobeying the spiritual master, no? These are all related with the soul. Therefore, those things will call obstacle to devotion. So sin is nothing, but offense is a great obstacle to devotion. But sin is not an obstacle. Even the most sinful person easily becomes a devotee by chanting the holy name. What sins Ajamil chanted, committed. Day and night, day and night, day and night. One time he chanted Narayan, it was finished burnt to ashes. But Ajamil never did any offense. He never blasphemed any saintly persons, because no saintly person ever went near him, because he was a complete animal. Debauchee, drunkard, alcoholic, gambler, living with a prostitute. No sadhu ever went anywhere near him. Therefore he never offended any sadhu. He never thought, I will commit sinful activities and then chant the holy name. He never thought. Ajamil did so much sinful activity, but he never did any offense to a whole saintly person or to the holy name. Therefore, very easily he was liberated. We are so much criticizing devotees. We are worse than Ajamil. We think we are so much better, but we're actually in a worse position. Okay, therefore you see new people, if they're very simple, very easily they understand devotion. Very quickly they feel many things because they are not committing any offenses. But then, remember when we first joined, how much we felt happiness, joy, enthusiasm? Then become a little older, 6 months later, then, come on, I know Pran Govinda. But first, when you first come into Pran Govinda. I remember when we first come to the temple, we respect everyone in the temple. Isn't it? This is true. I remember when I first came, everyone was like Dandavat Puru, Haribol, keep verse. But now it's like Damana Raj, Superman, it's like so much pride. We don't respect everyone. We have opinions on everyone. Therefore, not feeling the same happiness as first joined. So I have to be very careful of upright. It covers devotion. It's an obstacle. Yes, Pankaj Maharaj. Yes. Still, even though that comes, we have to be careful not to become absorbed in others' faults 24 hours. That's all right. We see fault, but we should not concentrate, become absorbed, always speak about it, then problems come. If we see fault in someone, what should we do? Guru Maharaj says we neglect them. Neglect doesn't mean you hate them or kick them in the face. That person should be neglected means you don't mix very intimately with. But the problem is when we go around criticizing again and again, then an obstacle comes in devotion. Someone has a fault, we are not pure Vaishnavas, Mahabhagavats. Mahabhagavat never sees the fault in anyone. We are not that level. And if we do artificially, you'll fall down. Even if I go in the wine shop and start associating with the prostitutes, I'll end up like Nityananda Prabhu. No. Ocean of difference is there. So fault is there, and now we're trying to come to the middle platform of devotion. We will see fault, and if very severe fault is there, we will not mix intimately. But that doesn't mean 24 hours a day we go around criticizing. Then problem will come.
Hate the sin, not the sin.
Hate the sin, not the sin. Yes, Michael.
Why does Krishna choose who he chooses to experience all of whatever it is that brings them to him?
There's a story. Nice story. He's asking why Krishna accepts some and not others. One time Mother Yasoda was offering lamps on Krishna's birthday to Lord Narayan for Krishna's benefit. So the lamps, they have like in leaf cups and they float on the water. If you've seen Haridwar, Yamuna, very beautiful. So many leaf cups she was offering. So Krishna, she was so absorbed in this that she forgot about Krishna for Krishna. That Krishna went down the bank and the leaf cups were coming. Krishna was taking some out and putting on the bank. And Mother Yasoda came. Mother Yasoda became a little angry. What are you doing? Why are you taking the leaf cups out? Why are you taking some out and not all of them? Then Krishna said, oh Mother, what can I do? I can only take out those cups that come near. I take them out. There were those souls that come near Krishna by their desire, by the mercy of sadhus, Krishna takes them out. And every souls have their independence. Krishna cannot take you out if you don't want to or get out. Everyone has their free will. Even Krishna will never interfere with your free will. Michael, you want to do bhajan? Krishna will let you do bhajan. And if you want to forget about bhajan, then Krishna will help you forget about bhajan also. Depends on your desire. Depends on your desire. Yes, sorry, Lola was there.
I come to know that some people, when they drink alcohol, they don't become drunkards. Like they have a glass of wine at their meal, they feel that it helps their digestion. But they never have more than one. And, you know, and even if they go to some event, they'll have one drink. They never have more than one. And they feel that, you know, there's some benefit for them in some social whatever. They don't become drunkards. So, in a case like that, like you were describing the simple planets and how there's the hellish planets and how there's a planet for those that drink alcohol.
For brahmanas who drink it.
Oh, just brahmanas. Okay. Because because there's no animal killed or anything, like some potatoes or grains is fermented. So I'm wondering why it's on that level, such a simple thing to go to a hellish.
Actually, most of them are for brahmanas who commit sinful activities. Because Brahmana has knowledge, but still they're doing, therefore some special punishment is given. Therefore, this punishment is according to the person who it is. Like a Sudra, when a person has no knowledge but still doesn't improve themselves, they also go to one place. But it's not so much severe, because they were not given so much facility. So that punishment is not so much severe. Not like someone in knowledge who does. Understand? It's like, Srila Maharaj gave a good example once. Imagine there's a class and there's two boys. One is the topmost student in the class and the other one is the bottommost student. Right? So what will happen if the topmost student, he starts failing his exams, he starts going to the toilets and smoking cigarettes? What will happen to him? All the teachers, all the parents, the headmaster, everyone will, what are you doing? Pull yourself together, come on. And the guy in the bottom of the class, he's doing all those things. Who cares? Right? That's expected of him. So the guy in the bottom, the lower, the like uncivilized persons who have no access to knowledge, they're given punishment, but it's not that much severe. Like a dog bites you, what do you expect? That is dog. But a person bites you, special punishment for the person. So persons who are like, they have no access to so much knowledge or whatever, punishment is there, but that punishment is not so much severe. Those who are given facility and misuse of that special punishment is given to them.
Because many people who are even, they're vegetarian, they're interested in spiritual life, but they still like to have a glass of wine. And I can't understand why wine is so simple.
Because it is,
So for preaching, like how to
Because-
establish from Hare Krishna.
many things you could say. Ultimately, wine cannot be offered to the Lord. Even water which is not offered to Krishna, that's considered urine. What to speak of wine? You could try that argument. Many things. Depends on the person you're speaking to. What to say. Yes, sir. It says here. Fifth canto. Must be. Because they have knowledge. Still, Brahmanas know. They know that drinking is wrong. A Brahmin knows drinking alcohol is wrong, but they do it. Therefore, devotees who have taken Brahminical initiation, they do these things, special punishment. Like you hear, right? I just read, don't mind, going back to the hellish planets. Hear these things, you know. For example, if in this life a man of the higher classes, a Brahmin, Kshatriya, or Vaishya, is very fond of taking his pet dogs in the forest to hunt and kill animals unnecessarily, he is placed in the hell known as Prana Road, with the assistance of Yamaraj, piercing with arrows as if a target. Got it? It's not saying ordinary persons will be punished. There will be punishment, but specifically mentioned those in the higher orders, Brahmanas, Kshatriya, or Vaishyas. No, that's the verse. It says the next one. Okay, don't mind. There's a little... Anyway, I have to say. If a foolish member of the twice-born classes, Brahman, Kshatriya, or Vaishya, forces his wife to drink his semen out of lust, he is put in the hell known as Lalabhaska. I'm not saying for Sudras or anyone else, for the higher classes. If a Brahman or a Brahmana's wife drinks liquor, they're taken to the hell known as Ayapan, where they're forced. This hell also awaits any Kshatriya, Vaishya, or person under a vow who drinks Soma Ras. That person is put in Ayapan, where they're forced to drink boiling liquid metal. So a lot of these things given for the higher classes. But also something is given for the low class. Listen to this one, just in case you thought you were going to miss out. A low-born and an abominable person who in this life becomes falsely proud, thinking, I am great, and thus fails to show respect to those who are more elevated to him than by birth, austerity, education, behavior, caste, or spiritual order, he is like a dead man even in this lifetime. After death, he is thrown headfirst into the hell known as Ksara Kardama. Remember that one? Where he suffers greatly. Understand? So much concession is given for those persons who have no access to knowledge. But even those who have no access to knowledge, who are low-born and abominable, out of pride, they disrespect others, they will also have to go. So much is given. No? Also, some is for those who are born low but do not increase, do not advance in any way, they're also given some punishment. A householder who receives guests but does not welcome them warmly, he is put into one hell. A one who is very proud of his wealth and thinks I am rich, who is equal to me, he also gets one result. But mostly it's for the Brahmanas, for those in the higher orders. No? Also something is there. One who is born in a responsible family, or member of the royal family or government, but who neglects to execute his duties properly, he is given punishment. So most of it is for those in the higher, those persons who should know. Also, it's not that everyone, those who are born in a lesser category, give full exemption. Here it says, a person who indulges in sex indiscriminately, even with animals, is taken to the hell known as Vajra Kantaka Salmali. God, even the name is even hellish. Where he tries to climb up trees to escape the Yamarudunas, they pull him down. Those trees are covered in thorns. A man or woman who indulges in sexual intercourse with an unworthy member of the opposite sex, they're put into another one. Not that everyone escapes, but special punishment is for those of the higher classes, because they know better. Tika. Here it says, the shameless husbands of low-born women live exactly like animals, and therefore they have no good behavior, cleanliness, or regulation. After death, they are thrown into a hell called Perioda, where they are put in an ocean filled with pustule, urine, mucus, saliva, and other things. Sudras who could not improve themselves fall into that ocean and are forced to eat those disgusting things. Feeling hungry? Huh?
Can you commit suicide in those places?
No.
even if you commit suicide in this place, then also you live for the amount of years that is.
No escape. So better chant the holy name now. Haribol, Haribol. Yes, Michael.
Alright, if you have sympathy for people in hellish positions, and you're not supposed to associate with people who aren't of the conscious, where's the medium between that?
No, we preach. What do you think we're doing 24 hours a day?
Right, then there'd be no reason. Right?
No, that we also go and they have a beer, we also have one.
I just find people in the middle path and work the night.
If people are very much drunkard, and it's very hard to give them instruction.
Yeah.
That's what this movement is about, trying to help people who are not got access to that knowledge. Not that we are proud, we are great. No, that mood is not there. Before also we were like that. With mercy of devotees we had a chance to change. Not that preaching is one like pride, I'm greater than you, listen. No, we are also like that, worms in stool. Then we can properly give instruction. Oh, brother, I know. Without the mercy of Guru Vaishnava, you cannot be happy with that. Also, one mercy. Like without the mercy of devotees, where would we be?
Because in our human nature to want to go to the darkest spot, isn't that the best way to really clear up any problem? Is to
They asked Guru Maharaj that question. And Guru Maharaj says, we are not Nityananda. Nityananda can go in the wine shop and mix with all type of persons, but he is not affected. We are not like that. So we preach, but we have to be careful. Not that we go to the brothels, and otherwise we will be too much materialistic association. Our minds will become contaminated. We have to be preached, but have to preach according to our power and ability. Yes, yes. Then we can
Trying to understand properly that it's history guru, right?
Sorry?
Trying to understand properly it's history guru, right?
Shiksha, not Shishka. Shishka Bab, no. Shiksha.
Dixie guru, right? He can be like a guru that you don't have a lot of physical contact with, you may have really twice a year, like when he sits in the bar, like a Mata, and always remind you of Krishna, right? And then
Shiksha.
Dixie guru, one we have more contact with, is acquiring knowledge and devotion.
We cannot make sweeping statements like that. That can be the case. For some people, that Diksha Guru is most prominent. I think most disciples of Gurudev have no Shiksha Guru, because Gurudev said many times, I am your Shiksha Guru, I am your everything. And so we cannot make sweeping statements. Some people, they take initiation never with their Diksha Guru. Like, Pujabha Madhav Maharaj and other, they took Diksha from Srila Maharaj, but they're really never with him, always with their Shiksha Guru. But some people know they have more attraction to their Shiksha Guru. So we cannot make sweeping statements. But generally, you may take mantra from your Diksha Guru, you may never see him again the rest of your life. That may also happen. But Shiksha Guru will give that. In that case, Shiksha Guru will give all type of instruction and help. Understand? It depends on the individual, depends on the situation also. The Guru Maharaj says generally Shiksha Guru will be very close, like a friend. Because Diksha Guru is always respect. Because you took mantra, there's some external respect is there. But Shiksha Guru, there's respect, but that is more love and affection. So much more intimacy is there in Diksha. Yes.
You mentioned earlier that when one has a birth on a certain heavenly planet, the body is made of the subtle, less elements, what's the difference between that and ghost?
Difference is there, but ghost is also very subtle. Ghost can see and understand many, many things. Many people got mercy of Krishna also by ghost. Depends that type of soul, because the soul that gets a ghost body is not a pious soul, it's a demonic soul. If they have a subtle body but they experience so much grief and misery. The demigods also have subtle bodies, but they're pious souls, therefore they feel so much happiness. So both have subtle bodies, but of course differences there. And ghosts are mainly in this earthly region. But the demigods, they're always in the heavenly regions, therefore there's another type of happiness. Yes.
Does the sixth canto always bring about a lot of questions?
The sixth canto.
This is the fifth, I think it was last
Every part of Bhagavatam brings millions of questions. If someone is hearing nicely, they'll have millions of questions. One time, Guru Maharaj always used to ask, any questions? Then no one would ask. Then someone asked Gurudev, and people ask so many stupid questions also. God, in Italy there was one guy. So, no, I'll tell it, it's fun. He said, Gurudev, in the class, I feel the spirit of the mountain. Is that Govardhan or another local regional mountain? Like, Gurudev was so lucky he was hard of hearing. So like, these are like stupid questions. So Guru Maharaj says, who will ask a good question, who is hearing nicely and who is reading, then good question. So question can come, but it should be good question. Yes, Gopanandini.
When you chant on the last, is it destroying your simple activities from past, present, and future?
Past, present, future.
So wouldn't that in some ways affect our free will? Is what you said? And also, how do we, it appears that we're suffering and occurring more karma. So,
Maybe some offenses there.
and also, we've heard, when you're in review that example of the rope that's burned and the shape of the ashes reveals.
Guru Maharaj gave an example. The first time that Ajamil called his son, Narayan, from that moment, that's not for the moment, the first time he called Narayan, my son, all his sinful actions, past, present, and future, were burned to ashes. But still we see Ajamil was still living with the prostitute, still drinking wine, and still eating meat. So what is the meaning? So Guru Maharaj said, before ropes were made of hessian. No? Understand? No. You know, some rope is made of natural, like hemp, banana plants, coconut. So if you light it, it burns to ashes, but the form of the rope is still there. Sometimes we see devotees still engaging in sinful activity after performing devotion. We should understand it's like that burned rope. It looks like it, but actually there's no form. If you touch it, it immediately goes to ashes. So Ajamil's chanting was like that. Or like a fan going round. The fan is going on, you turn it off, but the fan is still moving. So sometimes devotee actually, they can't stop, but something is still going on. Like a machine, like a motion. So any devotees, if we see a devotee suffering, should we think that is their karma? No. If we think like that, then that is one error. That is some Krishna giving something we said the other day, no? To cover the confidentiality of devotion, and to increase their humility. Krishna gives devotees some disease or some type of material suffering, otherwise they have nothing. Yes, Vidura Maharaj?
Gurudev said that drinking alcohol takes the soul very far away from understanding spiritual concepts. Bhagavat said a similar thing, that alcohol makes the mind confused with spiritual understanding.
You go, you can tell me. Yes, take Krishna, last question.
Ajamil, before he actually had the last son, committing all these sinful acts. And after that, you start repeating the name, did he start accumulating Sukriti at that time, or was he had Sukriti prior to that? And who was he in past life?
Past life, I don't know. It's not saying. I have not heard also who he was in past life. It must be Sukriti so much. Anyone who chants the holy name must have too much Sukriti from previous births. Or something must be there. There must be some history in the Puranas who heard what he was. Okay? Yes.
Is there a process for taking a situation like what a relationship is a
Never.
relationship?
This is heart to heart. If there was a process, then there would become so much awe and reverence. What's the process? Only love. Oh, I like that person. Faith. I don't need any official thing. That's best. That is the best. That is the best. That is the ultimate. The ultimate Guru is Uttam Bhagavat, and your so-called Shiksha Guru is Kanishta. What type of Shiksha you give? There'll be a dichotomy, problem. If a Diksha Guru is Uttam Bhagavat and Shiksha Guru is Uttam Bhagavat, then they can give proper instruction how to serve Guru, they understand Guru. So Shiksha Guru is also Uttam Bhagavat, how much you are lucky, good fortune. So ultimately that is, if they're on the same level, that is proper. And even if they're not on the same level, you must see them as on the same level, otherwise you cannot take Shiksha proper. That is another problem.
How can you see something?
Faith.
It's not there, and then what's the point of faith?
What makes it not there? What makes it not there? Many people see Gurudev as a Mahabhagavat, but so many millions of people not see him as a Mahabhagavat. Why?
That may be, but
Now just, the question is there. Faith is everything. Guru Maharaj says even if your Guru is Kanishta Adhikari, but you have full faith, because once you accept Guru, you have to accept as Sakshat Hari. You have to, otherwise you cannot make no advancement. You cannot make any advancement. Guru Maharaj said even if your Guru is Kanishta, and you have 100% faith, no, he is Sakshat Hari, Krishna sees it. You make advancement, Krishna arranges, you get higher association.
But is this, if you can see that the Guru doesn't have good qualities,
You make more. But if you accept Guru, you should not see faults. You will be deviated. Too much love, Guru, even Guru has millions of faults. You'll be happy. Too much affection. It all depends on love. Really. Gurudev, if someone has no love for Gurudev, they'll see millions of faults in Guru Maharaj. Or you forgot. It's a question of love, really.
the thing is like if somebody is not at the level of Mandir Guru, and at that level, when somebody is finished at the right Guru, and he's pretending to become a Guru.
You should not pretend that is a fault.
But that's
That
what
would be
happens
wrong.
most of the time, that we see why a Kanishta Adhikari would want to become a Guru, because he's pretending. Because he
Maybe.
feels he has to give so much to people, but he actually doesn't have anything. He's a pretender anyway. So he's a pretender anyway.
No, you cannot say like that. You read
Some people will fall in that trap of following that Guru, okay? And then they have this stroke now, that, oh, now you have accepted it, it's like to the death, you can't find faults, because
You cannot, once you accept, you cannot find fault.
but there are ways you can reject it.
If Guru performs sinful activity, he's deviated, he's envious of Vaishnava, then you can blaspheme, then you can reject. But Guru Maharaj said so many times, even Guru is Kanishta. But he is respectful to Vaishnavas, he's not blaspheming anyone, he's loyal to his own, even he is Kanishta. And you have full faith in him, Krishna sees it. Anyway, whatever, just that, try and understand the idea. No? Therefore, really, the real qualification, minimum is madhyam, really. But even if you do accept the Kanishta, Shastra gives permission also. And if you do accept, you'll have to see like that. But that Kanishta will also be simple, humble. He doesn't have so much knowledge, okay, but he's not cheating anyone. Guru Maharaj said, even if he has not perfect knowledge, you can still respect him as Guru and take higher shiksha. There's no fault in that at all. But really, Guru Maharaj said, minimum standard for initiation must be Madhyamadika. Otherwise, what he'll give disciples, he cannot give much. It's a fact. Yes.
It says in the Morning Mantra that only reject your Guru if he stops you from going to see happiness.
Yes, Mark.
Alright, say you have great faith. At what point do you make a rejection?
When you see the Guru is
Through
blaspheming,
that faith there's an attachment,
you have to be attached to Guru, otherwise you cannot make any advancement.
But without, like, if you start to see that, like, through that action, at what point is there, rejection?
Only you reject him if you see him doing bad activities. Criticizing devotees, envious of Vaishnavas, performing sinful activity, then you reject. There is no need to reject.
So you have to be remain attached and really unattached.
You cannot be unattached to Guru. If you're unattached to Guru, you cannot make any advancement in spiritual life. Otherwise, why accept the Guru if you're not attached? That's your foolishness. On 24. Well, discuss when we get to it. For example, one guru was a fish, not that I go around worshipping a fish, but that fish gave some good instruction, therefore that is one type of guru. But that's... We talked all about this last night, a blade of grass. Oh, okay, I've had enough. Yes. One thing, Pankajji, as you come in Madhyamadika, then you'll be able to understand more. Oh, my Guruji was Kanishta. Then you'll understand in Madhyamadika. In Madhyamadika, then you'll understand, oh, my Guruji is Madhyamadika. Okay.
I just wanted to say, based on my own personal experience, having a guru who wasn't
Yes, please. Please.
many times a person is confused about their own level because in the case that I experienced, my guru, quote unquote, he had shadow symptoms, reflections of, like Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur speaks about in Bhakti Thakur. He had, powerful experiences, but they weren't pure bhakti all the time. Or any of the time, I don't know. But the point is, because of that, he was thinking, oh, I'm so advanced, And so, between that and the anarthas of wanting name and fame,
But because that guy had no guru himself, and how he could become guru also. And also, even though he had a guru afterwards, he also accepted Gurudev. He did not follow Gurudev. If he'd followed Gurudev honestly and simply, then we could respect him even as guru, no harm. And we can take higher shiksha from a higher class devotee, there would be no fault in that at all. But because that guy that we accepted as so-called guru, he also became completely deviated, and for that reason then we rejected. But if guru has no proper knowledge, he's not very knowledgeable, but he behaves properly, that we should never reject. And if you do that, is one big offense. We can respect and take higher teachings from a higher class devotee. There's no fault in that. Okay, nice point, Nityana. Yes. Okay.
There's Abhishek at
Noon.
and maybe some letters
We can do all that tonight. Huh? Yes, if they want. Can't do Abhishek at night. We should do before lunch. Bhagavat Puran ki jai. Go Premanandi. Nitai Gauranga Jaya. Nitai Gauranga Jaya. Nitai Gauranga Jaya. Nitai Gauranga Jaya. Nitai 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 Gauranga. Nitai Gauranga Jaya Gauranga. Gaura 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 Hari. Gaura 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 Hari. Gaura 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 Hari. Gaura 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 Hari. Jaya Nitai Gauranga Jaya Gaura Hari. Jaya Nitai Gauranga Jaya Gaura Hari. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Go Premanandi. Jai Sri Guru Gauranga Gandhar, Hari Siddhartha Vinod Hari Ji ki jai. Om Vishnupad Sri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai Nanda Krishna Vrinda ki jai. Samaveda Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Go Premanandi.
Still on? Yeah. Haribo, Haribo.